Okay, so warm welcome to the session today. And today we'll do another of the powers, which is the power to let go. And in this, thinking about this subject, of course, the first thing that came to my mind was a bird that lands on the branch and maybe creates a nest in a safe place. And however, whenever it has to fly, or if the little bird, the baby bird, then grows and it needs to learn how to fly, and so it needs to learn to let go of the branch, the safety of the branch, the safety of the nest. And so that was one image. And you can also think of some images that come to your mind when you think about letting go. Another one that I always remember actually seeing this picture as a child of of a monkey who has its closed fist in a jar, and the jar is of chickpeas, roasted chickpeas. And the neck of the jar is just big enough for the monkey's hand to be inside, but if the monkey keeps the fist closed, then it can't get it out. And so there was that aspect of, well, what's more important, being free or having your chickpeas in your hand and thinking you've got something, but the reality is you don't have anything because you're stuck. And so in a sense, understanding the value and the reasons, the motivations for why we would want to let go of anything, and evaluating really the whole situation. And actually thinking about it, our whole life is filled with letting go. Even things like standing up, you know, we have to let go of the chair or the seat or the comfort of sitting down, whatever it is. But there's this letting go involved with everything. And even walking, one foot has to let go of the ground to, otherwise we can't walk. If we shuffled our feet all the time, it would be really kind of slow and laborious. And so nature is all about letting go, of course. And I was thinking that sometimes, in fact, taking nature as an example, the letting go happens just as a matter of fact. So there's no emotional drama involved in all of that, but it's quite part of the process of change, that okay, after the summer, the leaves, you need to let go of the leaves, and then after the end of the winter, to let go of being this bare, you know, very, very, in a sense, a tree that has no decoration and completely void of everything. And so letting go even of an image that maybe one has identified with, whatever that image is. Sometimes it's even unpleasant images, but we identify with them. And so we need to learn how to let go. Letting go of the fruits, yes, that's a wonderful example. And in fact, is that the tree doesn't hold on to them, but it's when the fruit is really ripe and ready that it falls. And that's why, unfortunately, a lot of the fruit is picked before it's ripe. But anyway, luckily, nature is so generous that fruit will ripen and will sweeten even once it's been picked. And so, or a lot of fruit does anyway. And so I think it's really useful to take the example of nature in all of this, in the sense of being able to be dispassionate about having to let go. So taking out the having bit and just seeing that it's part of the cycle of life, and the cycle, and most things, if not everything, works in a cycle, in a circle. And so to be able to remember that, and know that, okay, well, I'm letting go of this, but it's just giving space for something else, for the right thing at the right time. And so it says, although sometime before ripening it falls off, to release the extra weight that is on the branches naturally. Yes, absolutely. So it's both the fruit that's letting go, but it's also the tree that's letting go of the fruit, isn't it? And so it's that's often what happens, isn't it, in families and with children who grow up and they're ready to leave home, and so everyone knows that actually it's the best thing for the young adult maybe to learn to be independent, to take responsibility for themselves. But it requires to be able to go through that in a way that's without too much suffering. It's really useful to remember the benefit in that. And so rather than thinking, oh, I'm left behind, and yes, it's not easy for mothers, I can imagine. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely more difficult for the ones left behind than for the one going, because of course the one going is going into something new. And in fact, someone asked me just today, as we were talking about this subject, they said, well, what did you have to let go of when you left Scotland to come to Italy? And I said, well, actually, I didn't feel like I was letting go, because I was coming to a new place, and I was, enthusiastic and really wanting to learn and wanting to see what was waiting for me, and what I could do and be. And so, of course, those who were left there probably felt something, but for me it was not. And so I was thinking, well, what do I want to let go of? When are the occasions when there's that sense of needing to let go? Some things I think we do naturally. We let go naturally, and it's easy. And it's interesting also to notice why certain things are easier to let go of than others. It's also because we're doing that all the time, actually. If you really notice it, if you really look and see, all the time we're letting go. So sometimes when, especially now, we're changing our wardrobes, from the winter wardrobe to the summer wardrobe. And it's something that I remember we used to have to do in India, and of course in UK, I forgot all about that, and it was the same wardrobe the whole year round. And then coming to Italy again, it was, oh yes, goodness, you have to. There's no, in a sense, you can't bear to even touch wool or anything warm when it's the summer. And then, of course, it's the occasion to say, well, hold on, did I really wear this last year? All winter, I never wore this, and so let me give it away. Let me let go of it. And then sometimes if we have enjoyed it, we like it a lot, someone special gave it to us, then it's more difficult to let it go. And some people have more difficulty in letting go of things. Others have more difficulty in letting go of people. Others of ideas or something that we want. And so for each of us, it's different. I think there are different things that we each feel the need, or we feel it, of the whole thing of letting go. And so a question for all of us really in this conversation is, what is it that you may feel, that in your experience that you feel like, yeah, this is something that I want to, or I have, or I need to let go of. And it could be something you've already done. And we've often let go of many things, but there's always more to let go. And I think each time it's such a learning process, isn't it? And of course, thinking about why I'm letting go of something, and what is it? Why is it worth letting go of something? So it might be, for example, that I want something to be a certain way. I want, I don't know, I want to travel to UK no matter what. And so I might hold on to that idea. I might create all sorts of fantasies in my mind of, visiting my family and doing this and seeing the beautiful hills of Scotland. And, so of course, as I keep that image and as I keep that, in a sense that I might keep my hope alive, but it takes a lot of energy. And then each time the lockdown is extended, the restrictions keep coming again and again. There's that heaviness. Easy to have the heaviness of, oh gosh, I don't know if it's going to happen. I really want it to happen. Why aren't they doing this? And why? And so these kind of thoughts can really be very, in a sense, draining. And so this is one thing that actually is so freeing to be able to let go of. And yes, it's something that I find, why is it worth it? Because it's not going to change whether I get to Scotland or not. It's, if I stop wanting it so badly, then it doesn't mean that I'm going to forget about it. But what it does mean is that my heart will be freer, my mind will be freer, and I can think about other things. I can engage my energy in things that are really interesting and nourishing, valuable for me. At the same time as sending positive thoughts and visualizing and being able to see in a sense, see something happening, but without those strings, it's like the bird's claws holding onto the branch, and desperately hanging on to the image of me being there. And so to be able to let go of that is something that is, yes. So just seeing what you're saying as well, that actually, yes, we already let go of our country and our origins for some of us. Absolutely. This is one of the big things, is to be able to let go of not just the fact of having physically left our homeland, shall we say, but in a sense, even to let go of of wanting something to be in a certain way in this context. So in my country, they do this, and in my country, we do that, and here it's so different, and I'm a foreigner. And so, in a sense, to let go of the consciousness of being, in a sense of being a foreigner. This is probably something that a lot of people, who are here and who aren't from this country, of course, would need to deal with. And but it is a joy to visit, being more detached. Yes, it's to be able to see the benefits of that, isn't it? And so says all this, yes, letting go of self. Oh no, hold on a second. or letting go of, did it go well? Did I do well? Did they enjoy it? Was it inspiring? Absolutely. So in a sense, it's being able to get the full satisfaction of having done something without waiting for the results, the approval, the stamp of okayness from other people. And it was enough because I put in the love, the attention, the energy that satisfies me, that satisfies my conscience. And then anything extra is wonderful, appreciated. So yes, very good points. Let go without regrets. Yes, exactly. And this is something that I think we can work on. Is in a sense, we can't, of things that have happened in the past, we may not be able to do anything about. If we feel like, oh yes, I could have acted in a different way, or I could have done something different or chosen something different. But in a sense, to come to terms with things that this is part of my journey, and it's actually helped me to get to where I am. But now, in a sense, now wherever I am at, I want to make such choices that in the future, I don't need to have these regrets. And so yes, letting go of self-judgment, to leave space for self-compassion, and not nostalgia exactly. No. And then says Corinne, when I put myself in an acceptance mindset, all of my life is more than less. Very beautiful. In fact, and exactly, it's definitely part of the whole thing of letting go is acceptance. No? And that accepting things as they are. And this thing that it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. No? So it is, I am, full stop. And that is something that is so freeing and so calming, I think, really. And as was mentioned before, it's really taking care and having that compassion for the self. Because why should we torture ourselves with regrets and worries, and I should have, and if only I, and if only this, if only they. So that's really torturing the self. And so why do that? Really. And so so I still need to let go of expectations on relationships too. Yes. So that's the thing, is that it's useful to find what is it that I individually, each one of us, needs to and would like to let go of. Okay. And so yes, it's very interesting to ask this question, actually, to see, well, what is it that I would like to, and yes, exactly. So it's a choice, and we need to be ready to let go of certain things, because otherwise, if we try to force ourselves to let go of something, then it just doesn't work. You know what it's like with habits, is that sometimes we know that this habit is really not good for me, and I want to let go of it, and we try everything. We try many tricks and all different ways, but actually we're not able to let go of it. And I sometimes ask myself, well, do I really want to let go of it, or am I still getting a payoff from this habit? Am I still getting something out of it? And so that's where the honesty comes in, is am I really willing to let go of something? And so the thing is that also when we decide that we do want to let go of something, then we need to identify actually what is it, even specifically, that I'm holding on to. So one thing is, what do I want to let go of? But what is it that I'm holding on to? Sometimes it's easier to think about what do I have rather than what do I want to not have, if you see what I mean. So what do I have is maybe an image of myself as not good enough or not strong enough or just not enough, no, whatever it might be. And so I have this image of myself as being small and insignificant and incapable, maybe. Or I might have this image of myself as being the troublemaker, as being the one who's always asking questions, the one who's always putting a spanner in the works. So, and maybe usually these self-images, we've adopted them from somewhere outside of ourselves. So at some point in our journey, we've picked that up and we've accepted it and we've taken it on board and we begin to see ourselves like that. And so, however, we need to be able to identify them. And often they're not easy to identify. But it's useful to ask many questions to say, well, what is it that, even like what about a particular situation, what was it that was bothering me? What really was it that touched me? Which part of my being did that? What was the sore spot that it touched and flared up? Because if there is no wound inside, then it doesn't matter if something, even if someone pats me on the back, if I have a wound on my back, then it's going to hurt really badly. If someone just touches very gently, so even a raw wound, then it's going to hurt. And so sometimes our reactions are overreactions in proportion to what's gone on. And so, but anyway, these are just doorways to check and see, to check our beliefs and to identify something that I'm holding on to. So that's, and then of course, another question is, well, what will happen if I let go of that? And that's the point to check our fears and to check why am I afraid to let go of that? And sometimes, they talk about these things in the whole aspect of our body image, and sometimes maybe people put on a lot of weight or take off a lot of weight, and it could be for coming from many different kinds of mindsets and beliefs and an effort to protect the self or an effort to be seen. And so the thing is that we go into all sorts of unconscious efforts to satisfy our beliefs about ourselves, which in fact are maybe not even true. And so we need to check our fears, and of course it's not always easy to get down to really what am I fearful about. That, for example, if my whole aspect of my image of myself is not good enough, then I may be afraid that if I let go of thinking of myself as not good enough, I might develop arrogance. So I might be afraid, so afraid of becoming arrogant, that it's better I decide that it's better to think of myself as insignificant. So it's just the other extreme, you know. And sisters, I'll just share a bit more about this losing weight and gaining weight. Actually, there's a very interesting, just a little, a half hour video by someone called Teal Swan. And I can send that to you later on, all this. But it's very interesting about the way she speaks about the reason why people gain or lose weight, and it's all completely to do with what's in our mind, what's our attitude, and what we believe. And so if we believe that by eating something we will gain weight, then we will, otherwise we won't. And I mean, it's something to experiment with also, but sometimes for some people, putting on a lot of weight is gives that sense of protection, or for other people to be seen, is that I want to be seen, I want to be big, and I want to look strong. And anyway, there's a whole study into this which I haven't really gone into, but I found it quite interesting, the whole impact of what we believe, even on things like the weight of our body, and the fears that are associated with it. So if I fear that I'm going to get, fat, then probably I will end up getting fat. And so that's that's the thing, is that we need to check, what am I afraid of, and what do I need to let go of? So these are just a few questions that we can ask ourselves, just to open the door to explore, to take ourselves a little bit deeper into understanding what is it that we can let go of. And so, yes, letting go of the fear to show our vulnerability. Yes, that's a big one, really. And I think we need to choose the little by little. So as we get stronger, we're able to be vulnerable without the fear of being hurt. And so when I've identified what it is that I'm holding on to, when I've asked myself, what will happen if I let go of this thing? So I'm checking my fear. That's when it's useful to then check the truth. That, okay, what is true about this? So for example, talking about the self-image, taking that example, where I may be holding on to the image that I'm not enough. And my fear, I identify that if I let go of that, I might become arrogant. So I check the truth then. And the truth that for me rings true is that I am a unique being with a whole lot of qualities, whether I or others think I am or not. So what I am is a unique being with a whole set of qualities. And so in a sense, it's really not even a question of what I think about myself, what other people think about it. If other people will think, oh, you're arrogant. Actually, that's neither here nor there. The truth is that I am a unique being. And when I value that, that's when I have self-respect. It's when I don't give that enough value that I need the crutch of arrogance to make up for that. And so, or I need the crutch of thinking myself to be small and instigating other people to say, no, you're very good, you're wonderful, marvelous, and so on. No. And however, to be, in a sense, stable in my truth, that I am a unique being filled with qualities and many other truths that we can use about ourselves. in a sense, it's that will then help us to let go of that belief about ourselves that was not even true. And that's why they're called false beliefs, is because we believe something that is false. And of course, that is very, very damaging, because if I believe in something that's false, then I end up getting deceived. And that's a very unpleasant experience. It's like a traumatic experience to be deceived. So anyway, I just wanted to stop there, and maybe actually I wanted to read out the little piece that I'd sent, as maybe not all of you have seen that, because I enjoyed it a lot, and I think it's something that carries a lot of truth within it. And so the piece goes: to make a fresh start, you let go all painful memories and heart wounds. Past is past. If the past was hard, it does not mean the future has to be. And so just with this first sentence here, letting go of all painful memories can take some time. So it's not that if someone says, if you share a painful memory with someone, they could very easily dismiss it and say, oh, well, that was 20 years ago. Forget it, let it go. Past is past. But it doesn't work like that. No, we need to say it to ourselves, for ourselves at the right moment. Someone else telling us to say past is past doesn't work. And so, yes, absolutely, Anna and Giselle can have the recording. But so I'll continue reading this. So we need to take the time that it takes to let go of the painful memories and the heart wounds, because we all have those. Otherwise, we would be peaceful, happy, joyful, delighted, contented beings 100% of the time. But we're not able to, because we're carrying wounds, untreated wounds with us. And so it's, in a sense, the first thing is to let go of the painful memories, in the sense that we're not remembering those painful memories and continually opening the wound. So it's a little bit like the scar that forms, and like a child, you might have picked the scar and then it opens up again. And so we don't want to do that to our wounds. We want to let them heal, and we want to help them heal. So this is some of the things that we each choose to do, and that we do together in these kind of gatherings. The aim is to heal, really. And of course, it takes time. So although it's true that the past is the past, and this is something that is, in a sense, it's very, very powerful, that I am not that, that victim, that vulnerable little being anymore. Now I am strong, I'm adult, I am able to make my choices. I'm awake, I'm aware. I can say yes, I can say no. And so in that sense, to let go of the belief that I am little and vulnerable not in the sense of vulnerability, but I am weak, or I am at the mercy of the strong ones, the powerful ones rather. So to come out of that awareness and belief is actually letting the past be the past. And so if the past was hard, it does not mean that the future has to be. And you seek joy, not control. And this is an amazing thought, actually, is that when to help let go of something that like a desire, that I may have for something to be a certain way, for someone to do something in my way or the way I want them to do it, or for them to be the way I want them to be, is to remind myself that I'm seeking joy. I don't want to control someone. No. And of course, we know that the more we try to control, especially someone or some situation, the further it runs away from us, and the more there is anger and refusal. Who likes to be controlled? No one, really. And so you seek joy and not control, and walk carefree into the future. You cast aside the seductive threads of attachment. So they're seductive because they look and they feel very sweet and very safe and secure, but actually they're not. And you let yourself grow unfettered by other people's expectations. I remember seeing one time, I might have shared this with at some point, but I remember seeing at one time, many years ago, I was sitting here in the center in the hall, and we had on a table in front of us, there was a vase with 2 roses in there. And the 2 roses were tied together because that way they could be in a certain position and look beautiful and so on. And I noticed suddenly that the stem of one rose was much shorter than the other one. And so much so that it didn't reach the water. And I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, this is what attachment is that I try to make myself so close to someone where I think I can get my sustenance from that being. And maybe there's a limited amount of freshness and coolness, that one rose may absorb from the other. But the real sustenance, the life force, which is from the water, and each one has to take that individually by themselves. One cannot do it for the other. That is missing. So it doesn't matter how tied I am to another person, unless I have my own source of sustenance, I will die, I will wither. And the other being cannot help me to stay fresh and content and peaceful and loving and so on. And so attachment is a real big illusion. And over the years, I think we probably realize that, little by little, through disillusionments and moments where maybe we allow ourselves to get to fall into the illusion of some attachment, and we limit our growth for that reason. And so letting yourself grow. And that's an amazing thing, is where I give myself permission to move from being this small, weak being that I think I am, to letting myself be seen and letting myself shine and be visible. And why not? Because after all, I am a child of God. And if they see me, maybe they'll see God. So why not? Why hide that possibility? And so, moving on from that, unfettered by other people's expectations. So you release yourself from the unhelpful beliefs and create a fresh self-image based on actual talents and values. So rather than thinking, but they always told me I was useless, and so maybe now someone has 3 degrees and a whole lot of experience and many talents, but still there's that sense of being useless. And so to let go of these kind of beliefs, which of course again takes time and love and attention and compassion. And so we just need to give ourselves that and not feel like, oh, I should have done this a long time ago, and maybe I've been meditating a long time and I should be perfect by now. No, so even letting go of these expectations of the self. And so if the web of superior or inferior feelings seeks to trap you, you stay unbiased and let ideas flow, free from judgment. So that's the thing, is that it's neither good nor bad, it just is. It's not better, it's not worse, it just is. And of course we need to evaluate, but not in the sense of putting ourselves up and others down, or the opposite. And so yes, just a few ideas on this whole subject of what is letting go, and why would we want to let go, and why is it worth it? So anyway, yes, it's a nice metaphor about the rose. So let's have a meditation now, maybe, and we can maybe go into the experience of being free and light. So let's see if I can maybe share an image as well. Oops. Yes. Okay. Okay, so find a comfortable position and take a deep breath. Feel the energies in your body settling down, coming into the consciousness of becoming quiet and preparing the self for the inner journey. I let go of all other thoughts, desires, for something to be in a different way. And I can do that because I remember the truth about who I am and what I am. I am a unique being, made of the essence of purity, love, peace, bliss. I stabilize myself boundless consciousness. I am whole and complete as I am. Everything that I need will become available. Like a hand that is open when something comes. I know that it will go, but it just leaves space for something else. And I, the observer, just watch with joy. At the beautiful movement and flow of the different scenes in my life. As one thing comes, I know that it will go. The time of rest starts, and then it will go. The summer begins, and it will end. Sorrow comes, and it will go. I neither hold on to the pleasure nor the pain. And this way, I can be stable and appreciate, accept both. And then when I'm ready, I take another deep breath. And I gently become aware once again of how my body feels. What is the state of my mind? And I become aware of my physical surroundings, gently and easily. Thank you. Anyone would like to share anything, most welcome.